Hey everyone, this is Dr. Leila Galban, and in today's video we're gonna talk about chunking. Chunking helps us package information because we speak in chunks and units of information. And a chunk could be a word, it could be a phrase, it could be a clause. And it's very important to know why chunking is important in our communication for speakers and for listeners alike. For speakers, it gives them the chance to organize their thoughts, take their breaths, to think of what's they gonna say next, and so on. For listeners, it's chunking is important because it gives them information in a digestible rate and in units that can be understood easily and not to be overwhelmed by too much information going out by the speaker. Okay, and today I'm gonna talk more about the importance of chunking speech and why it matters. But let me first remind you of some important elements of the tone unit structure. Here we have the maximum number of components in a tone unit. The pre-had, the words which are not, it's functional words coming at the beginning of utterances. They had the first stressed word in a tone unit. And the tonic syllable, which is a stressed syllable in the focus word, which is the most important word in the tone unit or the chunk. And then we have the tail. Whatever comes after the tonic syllable is called a tail. Okay, let's have some examples. Okay, I ate dinner. Okay, I here is a pre-had, as you see, because it's pronoun. Ate as a verb and it's an important word. It's had here. And dinner here is the focus word. Din is the tonic syllable and is the tail. Okay, look at the second example. We had a three-course meal. We and the head and the all these three words are functional words, and they represent the pre-had. The head starts with three until and also course includes course, and the tonic syllable is meal. Okay, we had a three course meal. Okay, number 3. Brad came to dinner with us. Brad here is a proper name. It's a content word, an important word, and here we have the had, and the had continue until the word dinner, which is a focus word, and the tonic syllable here is 10, and whatever comes after then is the tail. So dinner with inner with us is that tail. And move on to the following sentence or utterance. We have an utterance that's made up of 2 chunks. The first chunk is the in the end, and the second, we all felt like we ate too much. Okay, and of course we mark the end of chunk by a slash, as you see. And in the first we have 0 had and followed by the tonic syllable, which is and. Tonic syllable here, and also the focus word. Focus word here is 1 syllable word. Okay, the second chunk or tone unit starts with a pre-had, and then we have the had up to the word to. To here is a tonic syllable, and tail here is much. You may ask here, how can we identify a tonic syllable? And the simple answer is that the tonic syllable comes in the last or occurs in the last content word in a chunk or in a tone unit. Okay, this is the default answer. However, due to, for example, some contextual effects, we can find that the tonic syllable can come in the middle of the utterance or at the beginning of the utterance, depending on its informational value, because a tonic syllable is the most important part, the part that gives the highest informational value. Finally, we all agreed this is the first chunk, and here's the 0 had, and then we have agreed. Agreed here is a focus word, and it has 2 syllables, a and greed. Okay, and We find that it is, let me check something, please. Yes. We find that it's the second syllable, which is stressed with greed. Okay, if you look at the second chunk, it starts with brihad, and the head here is magnificent, and evening is a tonic. Evening is a focus word, and even is a tonic syllable, and ing is a tail. Okay, hope that you go back to your course book and read all the discussion and exercises. Check the exercises on this particular part, which is very important here. Here I want to show you something different. It has to do with how the role of chunking in giving two different meanings for the same chunks or for the same utterances. Here I have some examples. Let's read the first example. Let's eat David. Let's eat David. Okay, this is a group of words. It's a chunk. Of course, the meaning would be different if we chunk it differently. So say, let's eat David. Let's eat David. So in the first, we're gonna eat David. I think it's not acceptable. It's not the intended meaning. But in the second, let's eat David. Here we call upon David to come to eat. Okay. In the second, we don't. Why don't you run over Sam? I don't think that this is the intended meaning, to ask someone to hit Sam and to cross over his body by a car or a vehicle. ده مش مو المعنى المطلوب. لكن احنا لما خدنا بقى من الشانكينج طلع بقى في معنى تاني. Why don't you run over? Why don't you run over Sam? Okay, run over here in the second means practice, means think, means flow, and so on. So the meaning gets different simply by chunking. You know, it looks like punctuation because chunking is our tool to navigate what we are saying and to organizing it in a way that is more convenient to all of us, and that helps having successful communication. Just like punctuation. Can we do without punctuation in writing? Of course not. And the same thing here is true of chunking and of cutting or dividing our speech into chunks and tone units. Is very, very essential to convenient communication. Let's look at the second, or the number 3. Don't drink honey. Don't drink honey. Here is a verb followed by the object. But in the second, when we cut the sentence or the utterance into two tone units, we get different meaning. Don't drink honey. Okay. I call upon my dear, addressee not to drink. Ask him or her not to drink honey. What's this thing called love? Okay. And in the second, when we added, further chunking markers, the slashes, we get different meaning. What is this thing called? Love. Love here means dear. John said Mary is idiot. On the second, we have John said Mary is idiot. Who is idiot in the first sentence? It's Mary. And in the second, it's John. The words are the same, but chunking creates different meanings. Next, he eats shoots and leaves. Okay, here also chunking creates a different meaning. For example, here he eats. First, look at the first. He eats shoots and leaves. Here we find that he is a vegetarian person and he is eating buds and leaves and so on. And then, if we look at the second, after chunking, we get something different. He eats. Shoots fire, and then he leaves the scene. Maybe he's a criminal, something like that. He does all these 3 things, actions. He eats, then shoots a fire, and then he leaves the scene. Okay, so here chunking what gives different meaning. A woman without her man is nothing. And look at the second. Woman without her man is nothing. Of course, the meaning is different. We have 2 different meanings due to for chunking, so this is a very important thing. I want to tell you about the importance of chunking and why it matters. Hope that you take this into consideration. Okay, and finally, let me finish with an exercise. It's a listening exercise. Listen and write what you hear, supplying a slash at the end of each chunk or pause. Whenever you feel that I pause, please add a slash in order in the following section. Of course, you can pause the video and play back when necessary. Okay, let's go. Yes. In a village lived a carefree boy with his father. The boy's father told him that he was old enough to watch over the sheep while they graze in the fields. Every day, he had to take the sheep to the grassy fields and watch them as they graze. However, the boy was unhappy. He didn't want to take the sheep to the fields. He wanted to run and play. So, he decided to have some fun. He cried, "Wolf! Wolf!" until the entire village came running with stones to chase away the wolf before it could eat any of the sheep. When the villagers saw that there was no wolf, they left muttering under their breath about how the boy had wasted their time. The next day, the boy cried once more, "Wolf! Wolf!" And again, the villagers rushed there to chase the wolf away. Check your answer. Take your time in writing what you heard and check your answer. And see you next time. Goodbye.